Girl, we got some tea?
With the honey and the sugar.
Nah, we gonna need some wine for this one.
Well, wine me, please.
Hey y'all, welcome back to another episode of the Wine Me Please podcast. It's your favorite. We are missing one, but it's okay because we have guests that are joining us. Okay, it's Shaniqua,
Candace,
and y'all, before we tell y'all about our guests, because we know y'all nosy, we gonna tell y'all about this wine we drinking first. Okay, so we are drinking the Stephen Miller Moscato with its delightful splish splash of flavors like ripe mango and candied citrus. This is your go-to Moscato. It was delicately blended with orange, symphony, and Pinot Grigio. With your support, then made this wine low and slow. Okay, they was up in there cooking it low and slow. But anyways, this is a really good summer wine too, but it's a Moscato, so you can actually drink it all year round, especially for y'all sweet lovers. I just want y'all to know. It pairs well with desserts, assortments of cheeses and fruit, of course, and more. And it's 12.5% alcohol. And today it is paired with an apple strudel. Did I say that right? Strudel? Like toaster strudel? Anyways, that is what we're doing today. So, that's our wine. But, before we start drinking it, okay, Candace, tell the people who our guests are.
Yes. So you might be familiar with our guests if you watched previous seasons. We have, I'm gonna give them their street names because they came on professionally before. We had Dr. Wanda and Dr. Kelechi, but I have Kelz here and Wanda, who are my good friends and family, and want to see more of the personal side of my people. So if you guys want to introduce yourselves to the people real quick.
I mean, it's good to be back.
Yeah.
Good to have y'all back.
And to have you guys on the couch together.
Yeah.
Looking out cute shit.
Yeah.
Yes.
I go by Wanda.
We're here
eBay
for
Lamberts.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mrs. eBay Lamberts.
Yep. Kelechi eBay Lamberts. People who know me call me Kelz, but respectfully.
All right. So before we get more into their business, let's taste our wine. We go swirl it, sniff it. Before y'all sip it, cheers.
Oh,
Cheers.
okay. Cheers.
All right, we embrace each other.
Okay.
Embrace each other.
That's good. That's not as sweet as I thought it would be.
Yeah, because you
And it's
actually
more
like
dry.
real
Yeah,
sweet.
it's definitely dry.
I actually like that aspect of it.
I can
It's
tolerate it.
very light.
Yeah. The reason I giggled and I looked at you is because, I feel like our college experience, when we did start our little partying thing, Moscato was the basic, right?
definitely.
No, Moscato was...
We were basic
college
bitches.
for all black people.
Basic bitches. But, Moscato was our thing, and I think we went through a phase of,
I love to go. I still
oh
to
my
this.
gosh.
No,
we went
I
through
think
so
that
much
was the
Moscato.
only wine we knew in college, though. Just in general.
Yeah,
We ain't know nothing else but Moscato.
Yeah.
Doing
And when you're
Moscato
not a
back.
wine drinker, you
Yeah.
go for the sweet wines.
Yeah.
Moscato is
Oh,
always
yeah.
one. Always.
Yeah, so I actually like this. This is a Moscato
bad.
that I
This is
would
nice.
do more because
This
I don't
seems
like
more mature.
I don't like
I like
the
to
sweet
sip.
wine like that.
Yes.
Okay, let's try these apple strudels. I got them from Pete's.
Ooh, yes.
Pete's, please give me my check.
Now she
Put
might.
your glass down
She's
if you-
she's gonna eat. I'm gonna try a little bit.
Sit down.
Next to yours. Okay, I'm gonna try.
We love carbs here.
Is it warm? Mm-hmm.
Toast it.
It's good. Mm-hmm. That's good.
I like a nice little snacky snack.
I see your wheels turning.
Right.
For who, me or him?
No, for
Kelz.
Kelz.
Yeah, this is not his thing.
It's not my thing, but the warmth.
The warmth is turning.
It's definitely embracing. You know.
I did good. I did good with at least warming it up for you.
Yeah. Go looking out.
Warmth.
Go looking out, cause I'm.
He said it makes me want to bite it again.
Make you bite it
but
again.
ain't my
That's
thing.
not my
My
thing.
thing.
Yeah, it's definitely up. That's what I told you. It's like
My
it's up your
thing.
alley, but you know.
Are you just are you not a sweet eater or?
No,
Oh,
he's
no,
a
no.
vanilla cake.
I'm a
type
basic.
guy.
I'm a very basic person.
Also, you like Spencer.
Shout out to
Spencer's
Spencer.
basic.
Like,
It's
hey,
almost like a man thing.
It's
Almost.
a-
I hate
brothers,
to say that.
brothers.
It's an accidental recurring theme this season.
No, don't worry about it,
That
brother.
men don't want to try.
No, we are brothers in simplicity. That's all.
There you go.
I just like what I like, and then
Yeah, and it likes you back.
everything.
And it likes you back. It treats you good. You know, so Yeah.
All right, so I invited them back because, for one, it's really nice to see two professional Black individuals come together and create such a loving environment for your family, for your friends, for your community. And I feel like on one end, social media tries to pin Black love against each other in such a way that this isn't normalized, and this is normal, right? Like, I know even for myself, people probably feel like I probably hate men, but I don't.
They do be saying that though.
Huh? They probably do, but the ironic part around me is, like, everybody around me is in healthy, loving relationships, and I use you guys as examples, which is why my standards are what they are.
Fair enough.
And so,
As they should be.
right. And so I look at you guys, and I know it's not easy, and I think people kind of overlook some of the stressors, the things that you have to overcome to get to that level of success in your marriage. And it's not to say that your marriage is perfect either, because again, we should know your business, and we don't. But you guys juggle your profession, your family. You guys are in extracurricular activities. You do a lot of community service. You guys are still, making time for friends and family and everything. And so, just want to look into that on how do you juggle it all, and then how do you continue to support each other in that love.
Child, if you can see how tired we are right now, I don't think we show it on our face.
I know, I know it.
Just this weekend alone just kind of shows that it's a lot. It's definitely a lot. We had a family event yesterday. Yeah. We went to a housewarming / baby showers. No, / housewarming / baby announcement / gender reveal.
3 for 1. 3 for 1
yesterday.
3 for 1 special.
And then we had church this morning. Of course, it was Communion Sunday. And then we have this. Do we have something after this? I have something after this.
You do. I do.
So, yeah, I actually got 2 things after this.
Lord,
it's just a lot. Just, but it's nice to do it with somebody that you actually enjoy being around, because
I hear that all the time.
All of this stuff, it seems so much better to do it when you have somebody that is just as, like, stressed and just as that you can commiserate with, I guess. Yeah. Somebody you can commiserate with.
Yeah, I mean, so if I was to, from a productions standpoint, if I was to title this episode, I'd definitely call it Labors of Love. Because it is that, right? It does feel like labor when we describe it, but it doesn't feel like it because you're doing it with the one you love, for the people you love, right? A lot of the activities we do are for our kids, right? Exposing them to positive environments, and giving them the tools to understand how to serve the community and things of that nature. We want to create a village and a community for them, and so being able to surround and have these gatherings of friends, families, friends turn family, it creates an experience for all of us to be able to build that village. And from where I'm from, that's a very important thing to me. I know, being in the last episode talking about my being African, and just really wanting to bring that and recreate that. So it doesn't feel like work. It does take a toll on you from time to time, but I don't think we complain about it. You know what I mean? Like, we don't complain about it, because I think it's always worth it. And I think sometimes when we have, I know that sometimes when we have these events, or when we do have these gatherings, or when we go somewhere and we debrief on it, it's always kind of, we always kind of say, yeah, like, it was so good to make that happen. It was so good to see these folks, or it was so good to, see how we were able to create that environment, and the kids are happy. It's always something that we feel that is rewarding. So yeah, I think.
To piggyback off of the we don't complain, when I think of complaining, I think it as a way of being like, oh, I wish I hadn't been there. The reason we don't complain is because, yes, it's stressful. Yes, it's a lot of work. But ultimately, I think we see the purpose in it.
Absolutely.
It is not anything that we would change. Yeah. It's like, it is a necessary part of just having a full life and a full family.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think that ties into, like, having shared visions, shared goals. And I think that's a lot of what marriage is, right?
You have to.
Or at least it
should be, right? How did you guys kind of get to that same page? Because I feel like that takes a lot of difficult conversations to get to a point where you realize that this is the vision for both of you guys, and that it aligns in that way. Because I feel like it did align in that way for you too.
I mean, I think it starts in the beginning. Like, when we first met, we did a lot of talking. Way too much
I know
talking.
you was going to do it with this one.
Yeah, we did way too much talking.
Yeah.
And I know every year we sit down and have our family meetings where we talk about what we got going on. We talk about our plans for the following year. We put our financial thing together. Yeah. And so really, I think it's the foundation in the beginning. As in, we had very long conversations, and it was like, is this going to go anywhere? Because when I was dating, if I had a long conversation with you and we didn't get to the same end, we had no reason to continue talking.
Fair enough.
Period. And so we had conversations and we always got to the same end. And if we didn't, then we figured out how to make us get to the same end.
Yeah.
And if we could figure that out, then I knew throughout our marriage that we would be able to always be on the same path. Yeah. Even if we were going separate ways, we'd always come back.
Yeah.
And so that foundation is what has kind of kept us together this entire time.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that the idea of, I would always say that's like sometimes the spark or the flames aren't always there, the chemistry, but we have the formula.
That part.
You get what I'm saying? And so we have the formula to be able to go back to the basics and write it again and go back to what, like fundamentally is our base, which is communication, which is the ability to be able to be open-minded and be humble. Be, in front of each other to be able to say, hey, look, let's take away all of who's keeping score here, right? There's no, who are we competing with? You're not my competitor. You're my collaborator. It doesn't make sense for me to compete with you. What are we battling for? So we always, even in moments where we tend to go astray in terms of our alignment, we tend to come back, communicate, and we put our egos, we leave it outside that door, and we just talk, and we get to that middle ground. And I think we've created spaces where we're comfortable enough to be vulnerable with each other on both ways, like both ends, and we put all that in the forefront, and that formula kind of shows itself again, and we get back to what keeps us strong. So that's always kind of been. So in terms of those long conversations, like it's necessary. Exactly, conflict resolution, right?
Solving. That was one thing that when we first got together, he would pick fights. Like, why in the world are you just saying nonsense?
Yep.
Like, why are you just doing random stuff? And
started a lot of shit.
This is just frustrating. Why would you do this?
Started a lot of shit.
And then eventually he was like, you passed the test. And I'm like, what you mean passed the test?
I hate that.
Like, he literally was starting conflict to figure out how I processed it. To see if in a marriage we would be able to process it together.
Now, it wasn't like... it wasn't like I came in and was like, here's your test, right?
No, it wasn't like
I came in
that.
and like slamming shit.
I had guys say that though, like I was just gonna test to see how you react. I'm like,
but it's like, conversations, arguments that could tamper down. Yeah. But he like, I'm gonna just keep it going just to kind of
turn it up.
I know her little, so I'm gonna do it.
Turn it up just a little bit. Why
you do that? And then eventually it was like, I just want to see how you would act, how you would react, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, thank God I passed that test, but the dating period for us was a lot of us just trying to get to know and figure out how each other worked in a way to see if that would work for us and if that worked for my concept of what I thought marriage would be.
Absolutely.
Thankfully, we both passed, but
I was just about to say, because that could have went very
Yeah,
left, right? Because I would be like, I'm not going to keep getting tested after you notice the pattern, like, oh, so you intentionally trying to start a little bit to see,
but
I'm out of here.
So I do think, in fairness, right, I think that I would start moments of disagreement and conflict intentionally, in moments where I could have just agreed and been like, oh, whatever. I like to play devil's advocate just for the fun of it, right? And so I'll do that, and I'll push that. I'll push the envelope a little bit, and I've never been in a situation where I start something and don't provide, especially being who I am, provide at least an in-depth explanation of what the reason is, right? And so in the case of what she's talking about, as far as me starting arguments and pushing it, it's very important, because what I would say is that if we're in a situation and we just started and we don't know how we're going to resolve conflict,
things are going too good.
That means it's like a situation where you tell your child yes all the way through. The first time you tell them no, and this is 10 years down the line, and you don't know how they respond when they face rejection, that's a problem, right? This is supposed to be somebody, if I'm committed to being with you and we're supposed to be able to spend our entire lives with each other, we're supposed to know the ins and outs, right? So for me, I've always felt like the person I love, I should be vulnerable enough with that person to allow me to feel my highest of highs, but also importantly, the lowest of lows, right? That person is capable. I've given that person my entirety. Therefore, they have that ability. And so I have to, in that regard, if I'm going to put myself in that situation and trust someone with that, all of me, then I need to know how we are going to interact and problem solve or whatever the case may be. And I would always tell her, like, if I'm going to deal with that type of situation, I'd rather somebody stab me in the front than stab me in the back. Meaning, we going to address this situation right now. Don't wait until it's 6 months later and they're like, well, I remember when. Like, we could have had this conversation right now. But that's not, everybody operates and processes differently. So I had to see, like, how do we deal with conflict resolution when we don't agree on the same time? And it's not going to be like 6 months later when everything is sweet and we're taking pictures and we're soft launching or whatever the case may be. Like, no, we need to figure this out. When do we start? Like probably like a week or two into us dating, you know, we'd have these serious debates.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Yeah, it was pretty quick.
Yeah. So, I mean, and so it was.
I'm here for a good debate, though. I used to do that with my husband when we were dating. Cause like, I get what you're saying. Like, let me see, cause it does seem like.
So it's not like I was coming in slamming doors like, what the hell are you doing? Like, no, I would never. You hear my point? Yeah, so it's a mental thing. Like,
I want to see how you think.
Exactly. So that's why I want to just kind of paint that picture for everybody watching. Like, I ain't just coming in throwing glass. Like, you know, like, it's pushy, cause and just create a little bit of frustration. Yeah. Right. So, you know, I might say something, even though she has like strong, you know, feminist beliefs, I might say something as a little bit, just to kind of spark a little bit. Yeah. Like, you know, like, you don't cook? Like, what's going on with that? Like, just something like that, just to kind of see where she's at with those type of things. Right. And it's like, oh, what does that mean? Like, and we'll have that conversation just to see how far, and when there's moments of irritation, how do you look at me? Because one thing that my dad would always tell me, even before we met, and he repeated it again when we got married, is that you're with someone for a very long time, and there's a moment, for those who don't make it, there's a moment when you look at that person, somebody that you love for so much, and it's like, how do people who they say they love each other for so long, they love each other so deeply, one day just look at each other with so much distaste, so much, you know, like just so much vitriol. Like, it's just so, and I never want to have that feeling, right? And I never want to be able to wake up and say that, okay, we got to this moment and I don't know how. So that's always kind of been my, like, cautionary tale. And I've always applied those things when dating or just interacting with someone that I've found, you know, that was of interest to me. So yeah, I'm grateful for her. Like, I talk about everything when I tell other people, she saved my life. She saved my career in terms of just being able to have somebody that saw me for who I wanted to be, who I, not who I was at that moment, and was all in being able to support that. There's a feeling that a man can't, just a person in general who has a partner, not just a man, but anyone who has that support from someone that loves them or is in that journey with them, it's you feel invincible. You know, and so to be able to have somebody and identify that very early was like, yo, I'm not letting this go. You know what I mean? So.
Oh, that's so cute. When you guys were talking before she had told us you was picking fights, and you guys talking about like the shared vision and all that other stuff, it reminded me of when me and my husband went to premarital counseling before we got married, of course, with our pastor, and he was talking about the art of submission, right? And I enjoyed how he broke it down. He was like, you know, you guys are about to be married. You're a team. At the end of the day, you guys are submitting to the mission of this marriage, not you as an individual submitting to me. And it's not just, you know, what worldly people see it as, but like the mission of the marriage itself. So like, so having those conversations every year, like, okay, where are we going? What's on the agenda? What is this looking like? How are we progressing? Or do we need to remove something? It's what is best for this marriage as a unit. Because we're not just two individuals. Absolutely. Like you said, we're not competing against each other. We're in this together. So when you guys are breaking it down, it really reminded me of that. And I tell people that all the time. I'm like, even like me being a therapist, and I'm talking to clients who are trying to get married or want to get married, and I'm like, but what is the mission at the end of the day? Because you may wake up and be like, you know, I don't kind of like you today because you hurt my feelings, or
it's gonna happen.
Exactly. You know, you irritated me and you kind of looking at me sideways, but we gonna get through. Just let me have my moment. But like, are we still on par to like what's the goal and mission for this marriage? And so when you guys talking about that, it reminded me of that. I was like, oh, look at them.
You're one of the first people that I've heard, like you and Jarvis having yearly sit down meetings, like board meetings of, okay,
we do.
This is our budget, this is what our goals are, this is what we got to do for the house, this is what, you know what I mean? And so I thought that was something really honestly impactful for a marriage that I think a lot of people just kind of overlook, like continuous maintenance.
And
it's
so, important.
Again, how do you continue the maintenance in marriage and making sure that it's still healthy?
We have to check in, right? And I don't want to if you have any thoughts.
Exactly that. Checking in.
We have to check in.
Around New Year's is when we typically do
That's
that.
when we do ours too. It's the New Year's.
Start the new year with our prayer.
Yep.
Typically, that's my birthday time.
Yep.
So we're going somewhere, we're doing something. So we're just processing how the last year went, how we want the new year to go. We also do like our finances and say, okay,
Plans.
what do we want to change this year? Like at one point, I think 2024 was our year of experiences, right?
Oh, yeah.
We made that goal in the beginning of the year to do more experiences.
Yeah.
And we did so much in 2024.
Yeah. It was, we said, because we were like, we're not going to just give each other gifts. You know, even gifts are cool, but just we didn't want to give each other gifts more so than being able to give each other experiences that we can be able to remember while we still can remember, right? And so, and especially as we get older and you realize this aging process is hitting you. We're not that old yet, but like still,
Right.
it's time doesn't stop for anyone, right? And so we were like, we wanted to start being able to go places and do things, and just especially coming back to Chicago. And being able to say we have like such a big, beautiful city, so many opportunities like we need to explore, right? And so we definitely wanted to do all those things, and we had so many really dope experiences, and you know we hope to continue to do that. And
we made our own candles and our own little lotion.
A little like what was it? Scents, fragrances.
Yeah.
And we had little candles. So when you have little like arguments or moments where you're not with each other, you can have that smell. And that smell reminds you of that time or that moment. You know, so like we've been able to develop in those experiences very, I wouldn't say subtle, but like really romantic memories in their own ways, right? So it's been cool to be able to do those things. And even from like the check-in, like business meeting standpoint, I know it's not the sexiest thing to do, but it's necessary.
Right. It reminds you that it's a partnership.
Exactly. And it is a partnership. And that's you just said what I was going to say. It's the partnership piece. And one of the things that I always take to heart with me is that like, she's her own shining star, right? Like, and she's her own, and she'll tell you that was one of the biggest things as far as my support of her. I saw what I knew she was going to be and what she's still on her way to become. And for me, I always want to make sure that she has her opportunity and moments to be supported. So when you got something going on, we can check in on our schedules, because I know I can get very caught up in my plans and what I'm doing, and events and mentoring and whatever, podcast, all that other stuff. But she also has visions and dreams and goals and opportunities. And so it's an important part for us to say, okay, what do you want to do? What do you see yourself, accomplishing? What are your plans? What do you got in your schedule? How can I be a support, and vice versa, and everything? So it's really, I enjoy it. I enjoy our meetings. And it's also an opportunity when we separate, right? Because I think sometimes people think about marriage and it's this one big melting pot, and it's like, no, they're compartments. They're compartments. Yeah, there's things are separate, right? She's not only my wife, but she's my friend. She's also my partner, right? Like she's co-parent. Like we have to be able to have those different compartments to be able to, so when we meet as a, partnership, it's almost like a business meeting of sorts, but we're able to write down, and those are things that I learned by being with her, right? Again, being open-minded, not feeling like, oh man, I had to, because I have my ways and routines of doing things, I can't listen. She taught me a lot of things that made me the man that I am now, right? So being able to show me, think about, okay, you want this plan, what's the budget, what's the plan? Like, we thinking about our finances, okay, how much are we putting in on this, and what percentage of that, and how much you got for yourself, and what do you commit to this? And so it made me think. And although sometimes it's uncomfortable being challenged to think, it still makes you better, right? So it was one of those things where I do enjoy when we have to have those meetings and recap the year, and then think and look forward, and start planning. And it gives you something to look forward to with your partner. So
for sure.
So that's the one thing I enjoyed about your marriage too, is that I have clients and friends who, when they have children, it almost feels like the woman has to take a step back a little bit and kind of assume a lot of the nurturing maternal roles. And I still see Wanda doing her thing with her, with her organizations, and, her being a doctor and still making sure I know that's a lot of caseload and a lot of work. And so I haven't seen her have to take a step back. I've seen you both step in and lean in into that. And so how has that balance because you got little ones and you got a teenager.
Yeah. So I think that was our foundation when we first got together. So when we got together, I had a 2-year-old. I had a 2-year-old, and he had no kids. Yeah. And I was trying to finish med school, and I was in this track where no man's land, where I was trying to pass the test, wasn't quite in med school, trying to go back, and all this stuff. And so it was very important for me to find a partner that would support me on that journey and not weigh me down.
Right.
Like, acknowledge where I'm going, help me in that process, help me reach my goals, but don't pull me back. Like, just help support me. And he's been that completely. And so even when we had the little ones, he's been so much of a support. In that, yes, in New York, we had 10, 12-week maternity leave. So I was at home with the kids. I was like, hey, this is love. And it was paid.
New York was
love.
Nice, man.
But once I went back...
It spoiled us. New York spoiled us.
Once I went back to work...
What is it in Illinois?
That's like 6. It's 6
Oh,
weeks.
wow.
It's 6
Oh, they have one in Illinois? I didn't think there was one in Illinois.
Yeah, they take off, but I
think
don't
it's
know
only
what
like
it
6 weeks.
But is it paid in state?
I don't know if it's paid.
Because it could be just the individual job level. I didn't know that Illinois State had it.
Okay, then it might be just by job.
I don't know.
But New York State, every person that was working had to pay into the maternity-paternity plan. They would take a portion of your check and you would pay into it every paycheck. Yeah. And so then when somebody got pregnant, somebody decided to leave, they would take money from the state. And so I literally got a check from the state.
Wow. Yeah, from the state.
Paying me for my time off.
In addition to like your job.
Let me go to
giving
New
you
York.
that.
So I thought,
New York spoiled us.
And granted, I didn't get a bill for any one of those kids. Yeah. When I delivered the first here in Illinois, I got a $10,000 bill.
Yeah.
So
she was expecting that too. We was looking in the mail trying to feed her.
But yeah, so once I returned back to work, he was able to flex his schedule, make it so that he could stay home with the kids, and so that I didn't feel inhibited in the fact that now I got a new kid, because, you know, you got your emotions, you got, you know, the mental strain, you got all of that stuff going on, and that he was able to kind of relieve me in a little bit of that. But that was one of the things that we talked about when we got together.
Yeah.
I said, listen, when I'm pregnant, you gonna massage my feet, right? You gonna cater to me, and you gonna tell me I'm always right, even when I'm wrong. Don't make me cry.
And she was.
Don't make me wrong, even if I'm always right.
She still is.
And he stayed with it, and so
happy wife, happy life. Why don't y'all
exactly? So I think we set the premise from the beginning that, you know, the whole child rearing thing. Yes, I got it. I can do it by myself if I want to.
Sure.
But we are a couple. We are in this together, and we should do it together.
Yeah, and it's not as fun if it ain't together. And I wanted to be, even from the pregnancy standpoint, I just wanted to make sure she understood that she was not alone in this.
Yeah,
he gained all the weight with me.
Yeah, it was not alone that we're in this.
But the second time, it was, sorry, babe, you're on your own.
Right, don't gain no weight, Jarvis. Don't gain no weight with me. I need to still look at some cute abs or something.
Right.
While I'm
That was my
miserable.
thing. I said you cannot be walking around with a 6-pack and I'm swollen. I need us both to be swollen, and then we get our 6-pack.
But look. Oh, listen, man. I'm gonna tell you right now. Even though like the second time I was like, man, it was such an uncomfortable feeling. During that process of being able to gain that weight, we had the time of our lives in the summer.
Sure.
We had such a good time.
Oh
Oh my God! Listen, it was like it was probably one of our more memorable summers, because I think it was the last summer where we didn't have we knew okay, this is the last summer where because our oldest would go travel for the summer, so and then it just be, and we were like, this is gonna be our last summer together. We played Mario, we was steaks in the living room, we was
y'all was wilding out.
Wilding out, man. It was good. Nothing was off limits, man. And of course she'd have her cravings, she'd be like, oh, go to what she was like Qdoba or whatever, 2:00 in the morning, whatever.
You know what?
Yeah.
I love this little salad. You remember it was a taco salad I used to eat at work.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. I remember that. So very just memorable times that we spent with each other, but most importantly through that process of pregnancy, because of course I understand I'll never have that experience of being able to carry a child and those, but I wanted to be able to let her feel ensure her that she's not alone, and throughout, during the pregnancy or even postpartum, right? Just because I also understood what that entails as well after the fact, and so I wanted to be heavily involved, and I made sure I told her that from jump, that I'm in it all the way through. And even with baby girl, our oldest, that was another thing where we had to have that conversation that, if you're gonna bring this little girl into my life, then we in it for real, right? We're not playing around, because it's a package, right? So if we're gonna do this, then we're doing it. And when she decided and she felt comfortable enough to bring baby girl around, then I knew for sure she not playing with me either. So that really let me double down in my commitment to both of them, to this day. So yeah, it's been fun. It's been great.
I do got a question about that. So if if it's appropriate for you to answer. If it ain't, you ain't gonna answer. But bringing baby girl around, at whatever point, how did y'all manage that with her father? Like, how, like, being, like, you know, like a blended family, essentially. Like, how did that, do you feel like it went pretty well and smooth, or did you feel like it was a lot of just like, I don't know, and you had doubts, like, I don't know if I want to do this?
I never had any doubts, I'll tell you that. But.
Okay.
I was going to say, for my part, it was easy, because my ex-husband was real low-key. Yeah. He was real chill. I mean, and the thing about it is, you don't necessarily involve him until you're sure that it's something that's going to be there for, you know, the long haul. So it was, to me, it was kind of a smooth process, as smooth as it could be, because it was just like, we doing our thing, we solidifying what we got here, we involve him when time is necessary, and of course that is on a limited basis, how much he needs to know as associated with his child, but it definitely was very smooth considering some of the people's situations I've heard of.
Yeah. We were very fortunate. I think we definitely were able to have, we were able to have those conversations and just figure it out. And for her, it's her, in terms of their situation, was just separating that until it's time for me to come in, right? But I think we just had to have that discussion as far as what it looks like with my involvement. What is this? She has to, make sure her child is protected, and for him as well. He don't know who around his child. So, over time, I had to. That's when things started getting more serious, and we were moving along. Maybe like a couple years in, over time, when we find ourselves in the same space, then we had to have that conversation. Just not too long, just to let him know, like, bro, you the dad. I defer, like, respect. We're both trying to make sure that the baby girl grow up to be, a good contributing person in society. We both had that conversation out of just as men, just mutually respectful. And I think that also worked out well in that regard, because I think it led for us to just be able to be civil, no beef, understanding what the mission is in regards. So that was very important. And then also, just as we, from our standpoint, when we were continuing to grow and get ready for marriage and things of that nature, we started, having more serious conversations as far as what that looks like. Because what does it look like we have our own children biologically, and how is that dynamic going to work, and what does it look like from a co-parenting standpoint? So we just had to flesh all of that out, and to be able to have. So in terms of you asking as far as did I have any doubts, I never had any doubts because I understood who I was with. But still, of course, there was like a little bit of that, man, like I don't want that. I never wanted to have that situation where the dynamic was awkward when we have future kids, and then it creates this whole division in the family because this my child, this not your, that type of thing. Did never want that. And that can be very, very messy. Yeah. So we had to make sure that we took a lot of primary, like, preventative measures to just cover all the bases. And I think that just kind of spoke to the maturity level as far as for her and, where we were at. Because we were able to just think ahead and say, okay, what could these things look like? And that kind of goes back, just bringing things full circle in terms of having those very delicate conversations early, right? Being able to see how we deal with conflict resolution or conversations that may be a little bit uncomfortable early, because now when we have those conversations that were a little bit more, sensitive or could create a little heat, we understood how we work, and we could talk through those difficult, things that we may, or disagreements that we may have about certain topics, and we were able to say, all right, this is the compromise, this is the middle ground, this is the path forward. And so that's kind of why I appreciated having someone who was willing to communicate all the time, and vice versa, because it allowed us to be able to deal with so many things ahead of time, so that when it came to those moments, we were ready mentally.
Yeah, I put together a plan when we first met, because I remember when we first got together, it was like, okay, how we gonna introduce this situation to him? Like, what are we gonna say? What are we gonna do? And I was like, wait. I know him, and I know how we should process. I know how we should approach. I think it's too soon. I think we need to wait till this and wait till that. And it turned out that process kind of helped us kind of get through a smooth sailing, at least on our end, as to how things were. And to this day, I think we have a decent relationship, to the point where the younger ones call Alicia's dad Daddy. Like, they recognize that that's her separate family. and they think it's her like God family, but they recognize that that's her dad and her family, and they're like, we got our godparents and we got our family. So I think overall we have and they always want to talk to him and meet him. So I think overall,
and I think that's when I highlighted the maturity part of it is like, I think that's so big to be able to have healthy blended families where we do put egos aside and realize like we're all here for the best interests of the kids, and so these conversations need to be had.
I will say one thing: the good part on my end is that relationship didn't end horribly.
Right.
Well, that's good.
There have been, people I've seen where it was just a horrible end.
Yep.
Ours was not like that, so that makes it a little bit unusual in that it wasn't a horrible end. So,
Yeah. I still wish, even when adults, when they can't reconcile their own issues again, like being able to put that ego aside and have those conversations at least on what is going to be good for the kids despite whatever emotional turmoil is going on, between them personally. Bigger picture, what's going to be best benefit of the kid. And so being able to have your children surrounded by love, just, and putting personal feelings aside, I think that's beautiful to see.
Being two professionals and, having, how many kids? Is it three? Three kiddos. How do you remember to just find time for just the two of you?
Romance, date night.
remember.
or put it on the calendar and get the reminder.
Calendar? Not just playing. Well, yeah, you want to? Well, I will say this. While you think about I will say that being back in among friends and families in this community and village that we've kind of reacclimated ourselves with is been a major support for us, because in New York when we were there, I mean, we still made time, but we also had very littles support. And preteen. And so we wanted to make sure that our kids were around really, really good people. So we had to make sure we kind of had to establish really good relationship with friends. Not that many, but we had some that we were able to trust enough to come in and provide a little bit of child care to allow us to go on dates and things of that nature. But I think once we came here, and we have grandparents and aunties and uncles and just so many of our loved ones here to kind of provide that help. I think that really did a number for us in terms of just us being able to go out and go to dates. And it wasn't just the usual anniversary and birthday, but we were able to do stuff a little bit more regularly. And I think that's been fun. What'd you say?
Yeah, no, I was thinking about initially, right? Because pretty much everything kind of starts back to how we started. Because if we didn't set the premise in the beginning, then, 7 years in, you're just like, well, what's this new thing that we're doing?
True.
But when we started dating, we dated for a year. I went off to residency. And there was a moment in residency where we hadn't seen each other for 6 months.
Yeah.
Remember? And I was like, listen, we have to see each other once a week. We really have. Not once a week, once a month.
I was going to say, how you go from not seeing each other to girl?
Once a month.
That's
and so
good
that
man,
to
Savannah.
me just solidified how important it was to connect with one another. Yes, we could talk on the phone. Yes, we could, like each other's pictures. But if we aren't physically together at least once a month, at least at that time, it was just like, well, dang, where are we? And so that kind of stays in the back of my mind even to this day where we have to connect at some point.
Yeah.
And so even if it's the small moments throughout the day where, he's walking past and I just do that, or, give him a little kiss and just come up to him and give him a hug. Like those things I feel like are moments where we connect, even when we're not going on date nights and things like that. And even just saying, hey, the kid's asleep. We can go watch Handmaid's Tale and catch up on all of them. That to me is kind of a date night. And maybe that's just...
No, it's fun. I like that type of stuff.
Yeah, because, we do have times where we leave the house and go out, but a lot of times that's stressful. Because we've done a whole day of hanging out with the kids, and then we're like, okay, I got to get dressed. We got to get here by a certain time. We got to make sure we eat. We got to drive. We got to park. We got to do all this stuff. And you're just like, okay, yes, that was a date night, but that wasn't the date night I needed. Yeah. And so sometimes just sitting in the house.
Yeah, I would say that I agree because I think about one of my favorite times with you is when we're just listening to music.
Now that started when we first started dating.
Right. Like
that's all we
so,
would do.
that's one of my favorite things to do is when the kids is asleep. Sometimes the kids ain't asleep. But even when the kids ain't asleep, right? Like even when the kids ain't asleep, right? I mean, I'll go to like either go to my music room and I have my my record player, or we just on the Spotify, you know. And Candace knows we have our little we have our jam sessions from. We haven't done it in a while, but a little music party we'll do like remotely. But just being able to just sit and just listen to music and talk about it with her about different times and, you know, which Beyonce track we feel was the best one, or you know, like, or which Vito track do we, you know, we love Vito in this house, right? And so like which Vito track do we love, whatever. But R&B, rap, whatever the case may be, we just sit and just vibe to the music, and that's one of my favorite things to do with her. Just it feels like it's just us two in those moments. So it's yeah.
Any tidbits, any tips, any thoughts, any suggestions on when you're starting out your dating phase? What do you think are some very important questions to ask initially?
Well,
a lot of questions.
I mean, for me, I've always been, I think I've said this before, you know, money, sex, and religion. Those topics need to be, and of course nowadays even politics, but
politics and religion almost the same
right. That's what I'm saying. So but money, sex, and religion, and really understanding where you all stand in that regard, your finances, your intimacy, and then your faith and practice. What do you believe in? What your spiritual walk is, because if you have to be in alignment with those things, in those things in particular, I feel like those things are foundational. And then I, of course, believe in. You know, conflict resolution, or how do you deal with conflict from the early onset? How do you deal with disagreements? Being able to know those things about who you're with is important. Knowing how your person deals with adversity, what type of support, how do you give support, right? Some people like affection, some people don't. Right? Some people, like, one of the things that I had to learn with her in terms of conflict resolution is that, okay, yes, like you know, I started some stuff, and but I learned a lot, right? Because I knew how I used to deal with resolution or trying to resolve a conflict was that I wanted the answer right then, right now. Let's deal with it. Let's stop this fight. Let's handle this right now. And I had to learn that was very selfish on my end. Yeah. Right. You know, like
start some mess and you want me to end it right now.
Right. Exactly. Right. So
I'm mad. I need a day.
And she needs time, right? And I have to be willing to give that time. And give her time to process, right? And then she's like gonna take like 3 weeks, but she needed time to process. Yeah, and I realized that that's how she deals with it. She doesn't necessarily like to deal with things head on like I did, right? And even as we've grown now, we were just talking about this in the car yesterday, right? Like we just talk about, and again, like these are the conversations that I'm willing to have with, you know, the love of my life, is that you can be able to talk about what did we learn from each other? Like how do we influence each other? What has changed, you know, between us now that we're in each other's lives for the long haul? And being able to say, oh, you know, like I was telling her, like when she first met me, she was definitely not as animated. I'm animated. I'm just animated by nature, by being my Nigerian ways sometimes, but and how I deal with stuff. But even nowadays, I've learned to take a beat. Chill, right? I would tell her like I'm very hasty. I would like to get stuff done here and now, but I've understood that, you know, I was saying like, okay, if they give me 20 minutes, that being done in 2 minutes isn't always impressive, right? But being done in 15 because you took that, you know, 15 minutes to really think everything through and still perform on a high level is just as impressive as being done in 2 minutes. And so that was something I learned from her, right? And she was saying that now she's become more social, more engaged, more interactive, you know, by being with me, because she was like, we never would have had a refeed, you know, in my house. Like we've never had a social gathering, right? Like whatever.
I never had parties. I never had refeeds. Because he is just like a social butterfly. And I am so not that. I have like 1, 2, 3 friends, and that's all I need. I don't need nobody else in my life. But he comes in with a lot of people. And so it's kind of forced me to be a lot more open and a lot more, you know, just open to having more people around me. Be more comfortable with that.
And I think since knowing both of you, that neither of you had to change who you were, right? Like, because from what I've known from Wanda too, you've always been strong-willed, opinionated, like standing. Even you mentioned feminism, like you've had your strong opinions, and you never had to sway or change who each other was. to show up in your relationship, and I enjoyed that part.
No, I think we both compromised in order to make the other person, we accommodated the other person, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
But we haven't had to change.
No, I don't think I ever want that, right? That's not the person I want to be with. I don't want to be with anybody that's going to change. I was with you because this is who you were and that's what I was attracted to. And it's very similar to what I even say about my kids. Like, I want to be able to say at the end of the day in my life that I was with somebody authentically and I knew them in and out for who they truly were, right? For better or worse, compared to someone making a change to accommodate my desires and selfish needs. Like, that's not what I want. And I want the same for me. I want somebody to be able to know or allow me to be my true full self and be able to live that life with that person. And that person can truly say that they've experienced or knew who I was while I was still alive in all aspects and all angles, right? And so that's just, I've never asked her to do any of those type of things or never asked her to make any major changes that she did not volunteer to say, hey, I see this makes you happy, so I'm willing to try it. Or I see this makes you comfortable, so I'm willing to continue that. It's never been something that has been like forced or coerced. At least, you agree? Okay, like I'm making sure it's getting, making sure I'm getting confirmation. I ain't talking out of my ass now. But yeah, so it's been, and that's very important.
Like I know Wanda will check you if you ever came to that. That's why I just.
So it's never been, and I always want that because, like I said, she's her own person, and I love the person that she is, and I want that. I want to be able to continue building that for better or worse. So.
It's so cute.
See, Black Love.
We're going to put them in our TV show. Come up with a TV show. Me and Spencer going to produce it. Y'all going to be the stars.
Yeah.
But
I told y'all we got the Cosby's. I told
you. We got the
Oh, God. Don't say
I'm going to say the Cosby's.
So are you Bill?
No, not that sense. No.
Before we knew about
not that. I mean the show.
Talking about the show.
The Huxtable. There we go.
What kind of mind fuck is that?
The Huxtable.
Cosby's are in that.
What kind of mind fuck is to call it the Cosby's, but they're the Huxtables?
Yes.
I'm just saying.
Yes.
We ain't gonna talk about it, but whatever. You know what I mean.
Hilarious.
Get it. She's gotta ruin everything.
Oh my God.
Oh, I have a question. This is just, it's whatever. Because I know when you guys were talking about like what to talk about in the beginning stage, I think you asked something like that, and you was like, sex, money, and religion, right? So I am a firm believer that by the third date, we should be talking about finances real bad. What y'all thought on it? Because I think it was on the episode. Everybody thought I was like tweaking, but I feel like you should be talking about that.
We talked about it early because I was like, listen, I'm in med school and I'm in debt. And before you get too tied up with me, you got to know I got a lot of bills.
That's an important conversation.
Yeah.
I got a lot of bills.
It wasn't a third date, but it was definitely early along the way. And I was more than, because again, like, we need to make sure that we're not wasting each other's time.
That's my idea about it.
Specifically for her, right? Like, she's in medical school. I was getting my PhD, and we were both on different tracks, but we were headed in the right place.
I had a time limit.
She had a window.
Because I knew I was leaving for residency in a year.
Right.
It was like, listen, I got a plan.
We got to figure this out.
What are we doing here?
Right. And what does that look like, right? And so in that situation, and that's even adding to the big picture, right? She was like, okay, well, this is what it's going to look like for me. Yeah, I'm going to be in a lot of debt, but I'm also going to be in a position where, it's going to be a lot of income as well, but a lot of responsibility and vice versa. So what does it look like for you, and what does it realistically look like? And so we have to have that conversation as far as figuring out, all right, how do we combine or collectively manage our financial responsibilities, right? I had, a vision of certain things, and it didn't necessarily align. Like, I had one thought about how this was going to be, and I was like, yeah, it's going to be like this, and I'm going to do this, and when realistically, she was like, but why would you do that, right? Like, again, and so this is when I say she saved me, I'm not being
Women's
dramatic.
Intuition.
It's not even, right?
It just like, it didn't make sense.
It didn't make sense, and so because
it just didn't make sense. I just verbalized that to me.
Yeah, and that's you have to have somebody that say.
When we first got together, we were taking very long walks around that park. Remember?
Yeah.
Over there by your house.
Yeah.
And I remember we would have these conversations. I'd be like, what is you talking about?
Yeah, and she'd say that. She'd be like, what are you talking about? And I'd be like, I'm talking about this. And then she'd be like, but that doesn't make sense. And then she'd explain why it doesn't make sense.
Remember something you said about, like, when we are married, like, I should be able to have my salary to play with.
Everything that you bring in is bonus.
Like,
That's
everything I have is bonus, and I should be able to play with
she
my
was
salary.
Like, she was like,
and he was like, I'll pay all the bills.
And she was like,
I'll pay the car.
And she was like,
everything.
Why would you do
that?
Your
money. And I was like,
why would you do that?
I'm about to be a doctor.
Right. And
like, that don't make sense
and
to
so,
me.
yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, in that mindset, I was like, and I was thinking about that. And she broke it down. She was like, but like, why would you want to do that? Like,
why can't we live good together?
We can live good together. Like,
salaries.
we can balance it, right? She was like, we can both eat. Like, I'm working.
Right.
And so, yeah, and I was like, you're right. Like, again, just, you have to be humble enough to appreciate someone who's willing to come into your life and tell you stupid from time to time, because it's important. And so, like, and even going back, like I said, I say the story about how we even met when I was pursuing medical school as a doctoral student. I wanted my MD, PhD, and this is when we first started talking. And I remember sitting in the library.
One of our first conversations.
Yeah, sitting in the library. In the library, we were sitting in the library, in the parking lot in the library in Champaign, and we were talking about it. And she was like, what are you trying to do? Because I met her, the way we met, because I was pursuing medicine through a mutual friend.
Because I was already in med school.
She's supposed to be my connect.
Talking, and I was giving him the lowdown on what med school was like.
And so I was telling her my plans, and I was like, I'm going to go practice. I'm going to do my PhD, and then I'll go into medicine, and I'll do that for 4 years, and then I'll do a residency. And when I'm done, and then I'll practice for a few years, and then I'll just go do a PhD. And she was like, so you're going to put yourself in that much debt, right? And you're gonna put yourself in that much of a situation, go through that hell that I'm going through right now just to not practice for long. She's like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Mm-hmm. And I was like, yeah. I was like,
driven by ego. You was like, I
thought about it, and because I still had to think about why am I doing this? Like, what am I really? Because I told her off jump, like, yeah, I don't imagine myself
really
practicing medicine. I don't see myself as a true doctor. I was only doing that to satisfy my parents. That's just the immigrant manifest destiny. You know what I mean? Like, just my parents was wanting me to be that, and that's what I thought I should have been to make them happy. But then I started thinking about it. I was like, that doesn't make any sense. And when I say she truly saved me, I realize that now, even hearing her stories when she's talking about her professional experiences, and I think about that, I'm like, shit, it couldn't be me, right? Because I realize that I don't want to be in that space.
Yeah.
And when I say she saved me in that regard, and I'm meeting somebody who would have just nodded their head because the title sounded impressive, and even I was capable of it. I no doubt, have no doubt about that. But being able to save me from a world of stress and headache and depression or whatever the case, or dissatisfaction is probably a better word, before, right? And again, I'm just being able to have someone tell you that in seriousness and in sincerity, and be truthful about it, and in a way that allows you to feel like, okay, damn, like, well, she got a point, right? Like, and so I was like, why am I doing this?
Vision.
Yeah, so it was like, and that's why I say she sees things that I don't always see, and I don't always, when she shares these feedbacks with me about my thoughts and ideas, sometimes I may be a little bit off kilter. I'm able to accept those things. It may not always be me. Sometimes I'm like, you a hater. You know what I mean? Like, I'll be like, you always hating on me, but like, whatever. But jokingly, but in sincerity, like, I'll come back and be like, all right, yeah, you're right. Or, yeah, we gonna do this. And so
that's been a consistent theme through our marriage, that we've been talking about things, and you'll say something, and I'll have a different opinion, tell you about it, and then it works out my way.
That happens in my marriage too, so
I mean, hey, I'm happy.
I can't happy with
I can't complain. I can't complain, right? She's looking out for me, so
I feel like women just see blind spots of things. No, that's why I said that intuition spot is like, yeah, you see the picture, but like, did you see that spot on the wall? I feel like it's just a different level of like.
I'm a big picture person, and so I can have an amazing vision, but the day-to-day activity, the building blocks aren't always as clean in my mind. And so she's able to kind of paint that picture of what it takes to get to the big picture. And so that always helps, and that always keeps me grounded, and that always allows me to know, like, I have somebody that I can be able to lean on for those types of things and not feel that, I think for me, it's always been something to feel like, okay, if I don't have it all figured out, does that make me feel less than? And she doesn't necessarily make me feel that way, right? So being able to have someone that says, hey, yeah, we figured it out together, exactly. So being able to have somebody, even though I don't have all those answers, and being in these different positions of leadership, but also being vulnerable and humble enough to know that, listen, I don't got that. Like, I don't understand this or this. I just am completely off. and she doesn't use that against me, right? I think there's so many situations with other men I've talked to in other situations where that man may have been off and then now he's been made to feel less than. And I think that prevents that person from being able to allow themselves to express or be vulnerable. And I don't have that. That's a luxury in my life that I don't take for granted. And so when she's able to tell me about these things, even, or, you know, whatever conversations we have about whatever, and I'm not completely on the same page, or I'm not seeing things the way she's seeing it, we're able to have those conversations and come back to it, and we get it right, and then we move forward. So, yeah.
That gets back to the communication thing.
Yeah.
Because I think one of the things I've had to do, and I'm sure you've had to do, is tailor your message to the person you're talking to.
Yep.
Yep. In the beginning, I would say things, and then I'd be like, okay, that wasn't received well. I gotta reframe that.
Yeah.
Tone matters. Story of my life.
Tone matters.
I gotta figure out a good way to say that and how to get the message across. And so I'm sure he's had to do the same thing.
Yeah.
So.
No, that communication piece is big, because I've had to, and I'm still even just learning that within my marriage, of just like catching my tongue and realizing like, okay, nah, he didn't receive that like how that played out in my head.
Yeah.
He didn't receive that way, because I can see it all on his face, and I'll ask like, did that make sense? How did that make you feel?
Exactly.
And then even asking that question, I have to then follow up and say, I ain't trying to therapize you, but
Right.
I really do want to know how did that come off? Because in my mind it came off this way, and you know, and it opens the doors to have a more in depth conversation of like, well, that ain't how that just came off, just so you know. And I'm like, oh shit. Well, let me tell you, this is what I meant. You know what I'm saying? And I think he's mindful of it as well. Like it's always a learning curve. Of course, it's like, oh wait, because you know you can't say that to me like that, but I get you. But I'm more, because I process in a moment, right? But my husband's like you. He need a day or two to process something.
I hear that.
So like for me, it's like
Me too.
yeah, and I'm like, okay, wait. You ain't got nothing that just happened. Come back to me 24, 48 hours, and then I'll know that you had some time to think about it, because you need your space, you need your time.
Exactly.
Everybody don't operate the same.
Exactly.
But it's like you say, it's knowing your partner, knowing who you're talking to, and being okay with that, you know. So I definitely get that. Much I'd be like, oh shit, I said that wrong. My bad.
And I think that's those moments, knowing that those are going to happen too. And being able to walk through those moments and not, again, listen to the message, not the messenger, and not take it personally, where you realize, okay, I'm not being attacked. Let me listen to the message.
Absolutely.
So, I appreciate y'all sharing y'all wisdom.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Now, I heard you say 7 years. Have y'all been together in total 7 years, or married for 7 years?
Married for almost 7.
Yeah,
this
this
month is
month's
our
7.
Our 7.
May 15th.
Happy anniversary.
We've been together.
Like 12? I'm counting.
Yeah.
12.
Yeah, 12.
Yeah, 12.
12 years.
Okay.
Yeah, from 2013, that's 2025. This month.
I just be remembering the conversations hearing about you. I'd be like, I gotta meet this lady. I gotta meet her. I gotta meet her. Yes.
At least he didn't call me basic to you.
No.
He told somebody else I was basic.
He called you.
And
he
I
called
was
you a
like,
MILF.
you called me a basic.
He called you a MILF.
Okay.
No, he called you a MILF.
So,
I'm
hold
sorry.
on.
He called you a MILF.
How did
Hold
you
on.
hear that?
Hold on.
Because she said it to me. She said, oh.
I heard the
Kelechi,
opposite.
She not basic.
I
And
heard-
I looked at him. I said,
I heard
basic.
I heard MILF
Let's-
the whole
let's-
time. That's why I was like, I gotta
so
meet
when we
this
talk
lady.
about, let me just get back to your point about it not, the way it came in your here wasn't exactly how, that's not what it happened. So what, now Candace knows me, and she knows that like, when it comes to, you know, women, I don't do the.
Oh no, it's a compliment if he called
Right.
you basic. To
That's
be
what I'm
honest.
saying. Like, so she was like, you're very.
He don't like the makeup, the hair, and all the extra. Like he wants you to be yourself.
Yeah, yourself, your authentic self. So when they describe, I was like, she don't do too much. She real basic, just chilling. And you know what I'm saying? That's what I said. But my girl, shout out to my sis, but like she was like. Yeah, she was like, oh, girl, you not. I was like, what do you mean? Like, I've never met. But she took it like basic. What is
I think
that?
people associate
oh,
basic
okay.
with like maybe boring.
Listen,
and
when
it's
I'm-
like, no, that's not.
When I met her, she ain't come dressed up or nothing. She had on this
I
random
was struggling
gym
in med
shirt,
school. What I
some
look like with a
random
2-year-old?
tights, little workout leggings or whatever she had on, whatever pants. I don't know what it was. Just real something simple, and it was cool. Like I wasn't distracted or I wasn't paying attention to any of that. It was just me and her sitting, talking, and getting to know each
I
other.
actually think I had my hair wrapped.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it was real simple. Like, I ain't never, you know what I mean? So I was like, listen,
I didn't want to say it, sis, but I was going to say it. It does sound like you showed up a little
she ain't come just to the nine.
It was actually true.
Basic, I prefer regular.
Thank you. That's what I'm saying. Like, it was regular. She chilling.
Okay.
I think, but the
Basic is one of his
favorite.
favorite words, though. He
Yeah.
say basic a lot.
But the problematic thing of it all is that the friend said it out loud.
Yes.
I was gonna say
her saying she ain't basic. I would have pulled Kelz to the side like, you tweaking, she ain't basic. I'm not
said it to
say
me.
that out loud.
All right.
That's hilarious to me.
I probably would have been like,
I was like, and I looked like, what? Like, you really did that?
Oh, he said MILF to us, and like, so we're picturing some older lady, right?
She had a kid?
No, because Kelz, there's like a 2 or 3 year age difference,
Just
I
a
think, or whatever.
It's 5 year difference.
5 years.
You're 5 years older?
Yeah. Well, see,
I love it.
So yeah, so in my mind, I was like, who? And Kelz is younger than me, so I was like, who is this older woman with Kelz?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
But then even I think when your son's birthday party and James was James was like, she had a sister? I was like, that's her daughter. So even now, like, she's still slay.
Listen, our oldest friends came up to me and was like, I thought you was her big sister.
Yeah, so I was just like, I just need to know who is this older woman with my brother.
Older woman.
Yeah, that's cool.
Kelz has always been, mentally more mature.
That's
So, but yes, I appreciate y'all sharing your wisdom and sharing your
thank you so
story.
much.
And I feel like I learned some stuff in my dating phase. Y'all see why my standards is high.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, I appreciate you sharing your vulnerability, your relationship, and everything with us. And I hope you guys learned something from it.
Thank you.
I concur.
Thank y'all for that.
Well, thank you for having us.
it.
We enjoyed it.
Absolutely. I think our viewers love having y'all here too. So just saying.
Yeah, any last little tidbits you guys want to share or give off? Or
Yes. Communication is key.
Communication is key. Vulnerability comes with communication. I'm gonna add that.
comprehension.
Oh,
Comprehension
you
and
gotta comprehend all that communication.
Yes.
yeah. Put your ego
Listening.
aside.
Yeah.
Listen with your heart, not your ears, because sometimes you hear what you want to hear.
That's true too.
Exactly.
And no one's keeping score. Right?
Ooh,
No one's
good
keeping
point.
score.
Good
And,
job.
And if you are, stop.
Right. Stop being weird. Stop being weird.
True.
It's not.
Because
We don't
it
have to
ain't
do
getting
that.
y'all nowhere, to be quite honest. Nowhere good.
And you don't have to be in trouble in your relationship or marriage to have family counseling. Sometimes it's just maintenance. And so
Absolutely. As a person who be seeing these couples out here, let me tell y'all,
Maintenance
I
is good.
love when a couple is coming in literally
Just
for
for
maintenance.
maintenance.
Yeah.
They're like, it's been a minute. We noticed like a little shift. We just want to make sure we get back on track or we not falling backwards, and it doesn't mean you got to go to therapy like every single week either. Like I have some couples that I started seeing them weekly and they graduated to like monthly and bi-monthly and even quarterly because they're at the maintenance phase. Cause
Just
like,
to check in.
yeah, it's just a check-in of like making sure like, cause life be lifing.
Yes, it
You
does.
know, and they be having, I don't got kids yet, but they be having kids and that's a whole nother layer of things. So
Another game.
you ain't gotta feel like, oh, you failing or your marriage is failing just because you seeking outside unbiased, because that's
Support.
the key.
Unbiased.
Unbiased support, because your family is always gonna be biased no matter what.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yep.
No matter what. But I appreciated y'all
Yes.
being
Thank
back
you for having us.
this season. So y'all know what time it is. Follow us on all social media at Wine Me Please Podcast. Share, subscribe, rate, review, be in the comments, because y'all know I be in the comments with y'all. Do y'all have anything y'all want to promote for the people to follow?
Oh.
Black love.
Black love.
Let's all get it.
Yeah.
That part.
Well, I mean, they know
Pod
about
Pops.
my podcast already, right? Check out my podcast, Black Transnational Podcast. Follow us on social media as well. You can check out the website, www.blacktransnational.com. That's learn more about a lot of the work that I do outside of loving my wife and my family. So
That part, he
love
said
it.
outside of
Of.
loving his wife. That means that comes first.
absolutely.
Don't kid.
But
But y'all know what to do. Y'all know what it is. We're not just the podcast for tea. So why me, please? Everybody cheers.
Put that thing down.
We made it.
Brad's like, we made it.
That was good.
And don't forget, if you want our advice, send us an email to advice@whinmepleasepodcast.com.